Another week in the books. Another loss in the books. Albeit preseason, I can take the losses now. I don't want to not try to get into this regular season with these losses. But look, let's fix the problems right now. Let's dive right into it. Preseason week 2, we went to Arrowhead with the same result as we had a week before. This week, it looks like we had chances at certain times, but we fell short 24-14. And shout out to your guy, Brian, who was fairly close. He said 23-19, I think he said.
Yeah, yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah, so he was fairly close to that prediction. I was hoping my guy came in to save the day, but he did not. We'll discuss that. Yeah. Another quarterback looking like he's ready to do something. Look, let's get into it, Will. Week 2, preseason. I got to put that in there. Still preseason.
Yes.
But our ones against their ones, I wasn't impressed. I was not impressed. Give me your thoughts. What do you think, man?
Yes. Yeah. So, like, if you took a pulse of preseason game 1 and preseason game 2, and you walk away from both losses and saying, well, which one would you rather have? I don't think it's the second one.
Nope.
There were moments out there when we just looked like two different teams, two different levels of teams. One team came out, they were methodical, they were together, they were business oriented, they got their things done, and they got off the field. And they said, we put in our day's work, we're ready for the regular season. Yes. There's a reason why they've been to the AFC Championship 4 years in a row. Then we got out there and went, this stuff again?
Right. It's just like, what are we doing here again? And we were out there and we're like, all right, this is an organization that we can mirror. This is a group that, all right, let's follow and see what they've been doing it right, obviously, for the last several years. And then it's just like he said, it's just like maybe it's because Carolina wasn't as with it and that we looked a lot better, but we just looked like we just couldn't keep up. They were just almost sometimes kind of running backwards on the treadmill. We're just in here trying to keep up with them. And we just did not look like, the camaraderie, the unity, we look like we have guys in position battles trying to figure it out, but it's just not meshing.
Yeah.
Yes. I can't put my finger on it. There's obviously a lot of little holes, Will, but it's just it's like you said, here we go again. How can we fix this, man?
Right. How can we fix this? That's a great point, because like we said, on paper, it looks like we've got some improvements, and yet, like you said, we still saw on offense, little things that derail drives. Yeah. And on defense, we're going to get into it, but the Achilles heel of our defense last year was showing up on Saturday. So it's going to take some coaching. I guess I'll say this. We all also need to pump the brakes. I'm going to have my glass full, all right, of this is still preseason, so let's not get too worried. But you heard a little bit from Patrick Mahomes when he said, they were blitzing out there. They brought some looks that we don't see in preseason. And that's a little bit concerning. Wait, we were actually trying?
Right.
You were trying?
It's wait a minute. That's not what I saw. Oh. But look. All right, look. We got it. We're not, like you said, you have your glass half full. My glass is just at that middle line. I'm not going to go higher or lower. I'm just going to keep sipping the glass. But we have to bring it out. We have to talk about it. What are the positives? What are some things we can build on? Who made some plays or stepped up to the plate, if you will? What were some things that were beneficial that we can say, all right, that I liked?
Yeah. Okay. So very first one, and it's the topic of Washington right now. I thought Antonio Gibson looked really good in the role they put him in.
Yes.
They got him out of the backfield. Yeah. They put him in space. And a little bit of what I read in the last, couple of days has been, where has this been all his career? When you drafted him, you talked about how you could use him in space and give him a chance to make plays, not just at running back. And they haven't really done it. You know, everyone keeps going back to that screen play against Buffalo where he took it 70 yards, you know, and he showed his second gear. As soon as he got a little bit past the first set of defenders, he took off, you know, and then we didn't do that, you know, for most of the last season. So that was good. I like that. And as a result of it, you also had his counterpart who made some really good runs. Once again, Brian Robinson just seems very fluid out there.
Yes.
He seems very comfortable. I mean, let's be honest, this guy's a natural running back where we haven't had a natural running back for 2 years. Yeah. So you might be seeing the big difference in the two of them. The other thing that I saw, I'm going to go to the defense because I know we're really going to harp on the defense. I like two things.
Yeah.
On the second drive of the game for the Chiefs, I really like Kendall Fuller's coverage. There was a couple times down in the end zone where he made a play on the ball and he knocked the ball away where he was really showing like they tested him and he was right there. So that I really like that. And then this is a bright spot. Okay. This is going to give us hope. This is my glass half full, thinking positive. I saw Jamin Davis around the ball a lot.
Yes.
A lot. Anytime there was a pile and a group of players, 52 was there. Yeah. He also did he hesitated on a play and Mahomes killed him for it because he didn't know, do I cover the back or do I cover the quarterback? And he got caught in no man's land. But I saw him flying around. And I know I was saying I wanted to see a big play and we didn't get that from him. But if you see him moving around and around the ball, that makes me think, okay, maybe he's seeing things. Maybe he's reading and reacting like we want. And there's some positives there. So that was some of the nice things I saw. The list isn't very long. No. I did see some.
Yeah, I mean, look, for my positives, I'm going to start where I started a week ago. This is something small, but it's something that, you know, we're not used to. We won the first down battle again. Again, over 20 first downs. We beat the 22-20, and that's positive. And when you really look at and as you've been studying, like you and I, you've seen how much of a struggle that was for us in the last couple of years. So to start doing that, albeit in preseason, look good. And that means our offense is moving. A lot of that is because of the running game. And like we said, Brian Robinson. Now, he's from Alabama. He played in the national championship like 6 months ago. You know, this guy is not afraid of the moment, but still, we know everything that happened with Gibson and all the turmoil and everything around him. Robinson stepped in and balled out. He did what he needed to do week in and week out. And he has us asking a question that we're going to dive into a little bit later. Is he our number one? Like, is he that guy? That is something I'm excited to see. But then obviously, like you said, Gibson, we'll touch on that. But I got to shout out your shirt. I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to shout him out because I was the one who said, you better get ready. My boy's, he's nipping at your heels. He's going to do it. Heineke showed him. He showed up and showed why we have so much love for this guy. You know what I mean? He's not the most precise passer. His passes aren't super crisp. But when he came in right before the halftime and drove us down the field when we were struggling and scored that touchdown, kept us in the game, it gave us a little bit of life. Obviously, we didn't capitalize on that. But coming off of Wentz, and albeit all the quarterbacks did well. You know what I mean? You had Wentz at 6 of 9. You have Heineke 9 of 12. You know what I mean? And then obviously my guy 10 of 18. But we're not gonna get into that yet. But Heineke came in and it was like I've been here before. That is what I kind of expected him. Come in here, give me a drive or two, drive right down the field, especially a 2-minute drill. And, hey, hit us with a touchdown. Get us back in the game. Give us that little bit of life. And that I was really impressed by because you know it. You know I was the one ready to be like, here, I'll pack your bags for you. Howell's moving up on the list. Hey, but Heineke showed up, and he showed up against a team that, hey, this is the good team to show up. We've talked about all the accolades that they have. So I love that Heineke did that. And then you know what? That's where mine stopped because I got something to say about somebody that I've loved, and I'm letting it out. I'm like, you know what, ladies, we're gonna move on to the negatives. Yeah, we're gonna move on to the negatives, and I'm just gonna start here. Okay, look, I called it out last week. I said Howell's gonna come in and he's gonna save the day. he does not look awful. He didn't look bad. He looked like everybody knew you're not the thing that's a surprise anymore. People have footage on you, and you knew. But even still, he got 10 of 18. He over 100 yards for the second game, and I love what he's doing. He even ran the ball a couple times. My issue this week, De'Ami Brown.
Yes.
We saw that play right down the right sidelines. Hal hit you on a dime. This is going back to college. This is UNC all over again. And I'm just sitting here, look, here we go. Oh, there, Wentz, get them all out of here. Once you see this dime, and the defender, shout out to him, got his hand in there. But the way it got it wasn't a huge, like, pull your arm, disrupting the whole play type situation. It was just a little bit of a tap. You got to bring that in, De'Ami, especially if you're fighting for a position. You're right now fourth, if not lower, on this depth chart because Erickson's been making some completion. Dax Milne has been showing up, giving us a little support. So I can't continue to defend you on that. That was a pass you needed to have, and that would have been one where he had at least a step on the defender. He might not have scored, but he would at least got down within the 5-yard line. So you got to make that play. That's what it is. And I cannot justify continually calling you out saying, yo, this guy's going to do it. This is my guy. When those type of things fall through, those are opportunities. And I get that he made the play on defense, but those are opportunities and you got to take that. You absolutely got to take that. I'm going to send it to you because we're going to talk about defense, our third down defense percentage, but offense. I'm going to break just the offense part down. We were 3 of 10. A week ago, I think we were like 8 of 14 or something like that. Okay, I can deal with that because we're moving, we're becoming successful. 3 of 10 is what makes us think, here we go again.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Us being under 50% on third down, and it's like you said, once we get into this situation, it's like we can't get ourselves out of this situation. And that's something that's a carryover from last year. That's got to change because we're not going to be able to pull some of these games out if we're not above 50% on third down. So, Will, talk to me, man.
Yeah, so that was when on negatives, what I saw was when you're talking about the offense, and it's like the same things that happened last year were happening this year, where little things would derail our drive, and we don't seem to be good enough to get over those. Now, I will say that, it may be because it's preseason. And one thing to think about, like if Brian Robinson was running so well, if this was the regular season game, we probably would just keep going back to it. Yep. And they stopped and they started throwing the ball and they put in Gibson and they took him out. So like, that's where it's like, I don't want to play this up too far because, it is preseason and we're trying different things, but some things I saw on offense that I didn't like. And this is when it was the starters out there. So the very first drive, we were moving the ball. We got it to midfield. And a couple times on offense, when Wentz was in there, we were moving the ball a little bit, and then we'd have these killer plays or penalties, and we just couldn't overcome it. On the very first drive, they were handing the ball off to Gibson, and he was running to the right, up to the top of your TV. Yeah. And it was second down. It was 2nd and 5, maybe 2nd and 6, so not terrible. And both of our tight ends just got driven back, and it was like, and so he had no room to run. It was a loss. It put us in 3rd and 10, so we went from what, was 2nd and manageable to now 3rd and long. And then our next play, their timing was off and the defender Nick Bolton made a real nice play on Curtis Samuel. We're punting the ball, and I was like, it's just like, part of it is like, is it scheme? Is it the fact that we got new tight ends, one of them being a converted quarterback that should be running to those guys' side? Is that the right way? So they got blown up. That play ended. Second drive. This is kind of on Carson Wentz. I believe it was a 3rd down play. So the rookie came off the left side, Karlaftis, and like Sam Cosmi went and like pushed him wide. And then he went inside, which kind of surprised me because it didn't seem to be anywhere there. Well, Wentz kind of hurried his throw as a result of that. Antonio Gibson was wide open. He just ran out to the flat, and he was open at the sticks. Wentz rushed his throw instead of taking his time. He airmailed it to him. We're punting the ball again. And it's like that receiver was open. That's a play that needs to be hit. That's a third down that needs to be converted, and we're moving on. And then we had the bad on the third drive. Wentz held the ball. He did what people say he does. Mm-hmm. He tried to play hero ball. He got sacked. We went from field goal range to punting it, as a result of that play. So it's like there were plays out there that we did last year where you're seeing it again. It's like that was the stuff that wasn't crisp. And so that was tough to watch. That kind of what got me frustrated while I was watching it.
That had me messed up. And if I'm not mistaken, on that one of the plays, I think on that drive where he got sacked, didn't we have a penalty on that?
We did.
Where it was something, it was like a second and manageable, then got turned back to like a 2nd and 8 or something like that.
Yes.
And look, that was one of the issues. 7 penalties, 75 yards. It's just unacceptable. This is, again, this is the time to get these things fixed. Yes, but if you have those type of penalties, especially when they come on offense, like you said, those are drive killers, and we cannot have them because it kills that momentum. But that's something else. But look, let's flip the defense. They converted 9 of 15 on third down, including their first 6, if I'm not mistaken. At least I can say we got them to third down. I guess that's positive. They didn't, score on the first or second play. But Will, give me some hope, man. Glass half full. Give me some hope.
I try to be Mr. Positive here. I can't give you it's happening on third down and not first and second, because that was the problem we had last year. This is exactly the same problem we had last year. And it's happening to the same personnel that we had last year that we did nothing to improve.
Yeah.
You and I have been talking all off season. What are we doing at linebacker? What are we doing in the secondary? Are we improving? And we're not. We didn't. And the same thing, the same people are getting beat, at third and long, and we're giving up plays. Now, I will say this. I don't watch a lot of Kansas City. So I've heard a lot about Patrick Mahomes. Everybody has, but I haven't really watched a lot. Man, there was some great throws out there from him. Yeah. There was some arm angles where like they talk about, he looked like a shortstop, the way he was side arming that, and he really does make plays that other quarterbacks can't. But bottom line is, that it's fun to watch, but that doesn't matter when our defense is giving things up. And he made some great throws, but we're still giving up some plays, and we gotta do something. Dude, I'm worried about this. I know it's preseason, so gosh, let's hope that there's some things they're going to bring out in week 1. They're going to calm things down. However, there are signs that I look for, and we saw them. Ron doesn't talk a lot, and he talked this year, after this game. He brought up third down. We got to do better. Yeah. We got to do a better job of this. And the fact that he is bringing it up makes me feel like he's concerned or he's mad. If he's going to make it public, then he's kind of sending a message. What did you see out there with the D?
Well, first of all, before we go to that, when our secret weapon is our punter, that's a problem. Okay, when he has more yards than our quarterbacks combined, that's a problem. Okay, 6 punts for 250 some odd yards. Man has a 40 some odd yard average. That is something to worry about, So at least we're doing decent. At least we know that we're being helped in the field position battle, as he's had 3 punts inside the 20. But does that matter? No. You've seen it. At least in this game, we got to the quarterback, I believe, 3 times. You have times where we look decent. You have some first or second downs where we're getting some pressure, but it wasn't as problematic this week because it is Patrick Mahomes. And I know against the best of the best, he can, maneuver his arm and his body, contort his body so he could throw it, and get in between traffic. It was a little more wary when Darnold and Baker were doing it a week ago. But it just makes you both games, it just did not look difficult. It didn't look like, oh, here we go. Here's a moment for the crowd to get into it. It just looked like first down, second down, third. Okay, we got him to third. And the announcers, and shout out to Doc. Doc did a little bit better this week.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he was a little tame this week, and what I heard. But they were saying, okay, here, we got to get off the field. We got to get off the field. And by the third or fourth time, it was just like, what are you looking for on this one? I don't know. I mean, I want to say get off the field, but we haven't been able to do it. I expect that from the first team, but when it's just continually going and there's no kind of resistance, that's when you sit back and you say, what are we doing? Like, and then it goes back to the coaching. Then it goes back to Joe Del Rio, and even if it goes all the way up to Rivera, and Zaganina. All right. By the end of this year, I'm going to get your name, buddy. Yeah. All right. But I mean, it goes back to those guys because what did we hear a couple weeks ago when they fired Sam Mills III? Oh, this guy is, he's energetic. He's got the ear of the guys. I didn't see much different in this game. We need to do it. That's from a defensive, line and front seven perspective. But our secondary, I go back to that 40-yard bomb on second down or something like that, where he just rolls out and whoosh. And our safety's over in the middle of the field where the ball was thrown, but at one point he had drifted over. And so then by the time he threw it, he's trailing just like the corner. And the guy, just got, shoestring tackle before he got in. I think Ab said it best. It just looked uninspiring. Yeah. It looked like they were going through the motions, if you will. And it gets really frustrating because you don't want to fall into that here we go again whole, mantra or whatever, but what else can you say?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's what makes preseason evaluation so hard because like you said, if maybe they weren't going through the motions, maybe they weren't trying to, show everything or do everything. And they're just trying to, work out the kinks and then they'd be fine. Here's one thing that I saw or that I read that I thought was interesting. So after the game, Ron called out Casey Toohill and he called him out on the second touchdown of the game. And what Casey did was this is going to be no surprise. The theme we had last year was he ran too far upfield, and so by doing that allowed for a hole between the left tackle and left guard. Mahomes ran right through that to buy time, and he flipped it to his tight end for the touchdown. All right, and what Ron was saying was Toohill was supposed to stay back because the pressure was coming from the other side, and Sweat was coming. He had beat his man. And it's one of these things where they talk about, trusting your teammates, filling within the scheme. As he called it, Ron said, it's gap integrity. It's making sure we don't overrun the play and we form holes for the quarterback to get out and make plays. And that's what they did. My thing is, though, Ron, this is the stuff you complained publicly last year about Chase and Montez. And this is the stuff you praised Casey Toohill and James Smith-Williams when they came in of playing within your scheme. All right. So my thing is kind of like what you're talking about in the beginning of your stuff about coaches is the scheme working? Because if you're going into the second year and you're still having the same mistakes, my question is it players or do you need to be tailoring something because whatever you're putting down, they're not picking up.
Right. Absolutely. So, I mean, what do you have anything else, Will, on the negative side? Because I will say this, and this is for all of my people out here that think I am this huge homer, and I'm not going to sit here and critique my guy. Okay, I will critique him. All in all, by the stat sheet, 10 of 18, over 100 yards for the second consecutive game. It looked good, but I can't overlook that one glaring interception. Because if I'm not mistaken, I texted you and Brian, and I said, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. The moment, and then right as I press send, he throws into the sun. And as soon as he threw it, I was like, why did I send that text? And I saw the interception, and it was one of those situations he was pressured. You could see he looked over to a side, and it was a timing route in his head. Okay, he's going to be there. But when you look back on the film, it's like, dude, where? Like one of the Neil O'Donnell interceptions in the Super Bowl against the Cowboys. That's like, where were you throwing that? So I gave him the benefit of the doubt, said the sun was in his eyes or whatever. But that one, he looked like 3-step drop, pressure, get out of my hands. And it was something, as we've been praising him for the last 2 weeks, it was something that was kind of like, because we talked about coming into this is that he's known for one, first read and then go. And in this one, he kind of didn't even try to scramble or anything. He just stayed in the pocket with pressure coming and went to where he thought he knew the guy was going to be. The defender made the play and he got the interception. So those are things you got to pick up on. Those are, because like you said, this isn't the first team. If it was the first team, I'd be like, okay, they've seen that stuff before. This is the rookie. This is the second and third team, the same team that you played against essentially last week where you torched them. You know what I mean? So I thought this was good for him, almost like a humbling experience, because I'm sure there was thoughts in his head. At that point, it's 17-14?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 17. This and obviously, as I was saying, this is the drive. He's going to drive us down the field, and my score is going to be the closest to the one. I mean, I had all these things in my head, and I got cocky, and I ate humble pie right after. But hey, we're going to see. I'm very eager to see what he does this week coming in, because he's going to get a lot of time. But I think Nathan said it best, and ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have our guy Nathan Snell on here later. Check him out. He did a recap of the Ravens and Washington, and I think he said said it the best, just like what I've been saying and what we've been saying. Let Howell learn the system. Let him learn from two professionals, one in Carson Wentz, who's been around, and one in Heineke, who's been thrust into a role, and it shows how you can kind of take it all on your shoulders and keep moving. Let him learn under those guys. Let him sit back and learn. I love what I'm seeing in preseason, but he's not ready. He's not. He's still got a couple things to learn. So we will definitely see. Real quick, I did have a positive that I forgot about. We talked about the D-line. Shaka Toney had a sack and a half in this game, and he looked pretty legit in some of those instances that he was able to do it. I think he had like 3 or 4 solo tackles as well. So he was solid, and Cam Curl 6 tackles in the game. So there are guys, we're trying to find little bright spots in there, because the score,
number 92, don't forget him. We liked Daniel Wise and his pressure.
Oh yeah. And see, that's the thing. There are bright spots. There are places that you can say, put a pin in this. This could work, but we need it collectively.
Yeah.
And 1 or 2 players is going to be great, but just like Warren Sapp said, the lone wolf doesn't eat. If you want to eat, you need the whole pack to be with it. So, hey, we'll see.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.